Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to format the left column. The left column meaning this over here, and you can see that we have it as inside a div, and it's called left, and the dot column means that it has a class called column applied to it. So let's just go into the project CSS file, and this is where all these things are defined, the column container. And you can see some things in here that you may or may not. The display table and display table cell are very important if you want to be able to have things go for the same height, because then it's going to be act exactly like an Excel spreadsheet where you have a row and the row is the same height. So let's go back into our live view and let's do our source code. So we have strictly listing. So we have a problem over here. We have the div inside. This is our left navigation, and it's not all the way over. Now, you may want it that way. You may not want it that way. I'm going to have it move over. I don't personally think this looks all that great for a menu system. So let's go into design view, and I'm going to show you a little trick that'll help you figure things out. Now, notice in design view, it's not going to be formatted exactly the way it is, but allows you to do some visual aids that will help you. So I'm going to click on view, and I'm going to just go into design view options. So let me actually go into live view and show you something. If I go in view, you have live view options. So they're different for each one. So let's go back to design view. So remember, if you don't see what you're looking for, check to see if it's in the other view. So let's go back into design view options. We want visual aids, and all these visual aids here need to be checked. However, we're going to turn on layout backgrounds, and that's going to make some different colors. So I'm going to click on this, and you can see it kind of tells us where each thing is happening. But here's what we're looking at. We have something going around here. So that tells us that there's either a margin on the left or there's padding on the actual div left, the margin on the div left with the navigation. So let's go and see what we have in here. So it's really very simple how to fix. If you hold down your alternate key and you click inside a div, it tells you everything that's affecting it. So we start from the bottom, and the only thing we have here is the background. The left we hear is the width, background color. Okay, still not there. Now we have the column. Oh, look at this, padding 16. So what that means is padding left, right, top, and bottom, 16 pixels. So let's go and let's fix that. And I just clicked on it, and it allows me to go here. And let's just change this to 0. And we hit the enter key. Oops. And that messes it up when you hit the enter key in the wrong spot. So let's go into live view now and see what we have. Okay, so now we have the menu system completely over. So now we have to deal with the top in here. We don't know what that is. So again, let's go into design view, and let's click in here and see everything that's affecting it. Again, we have this, column, margins, container, so on and so forth. Well, we don't have anything defined, but that doesn't mean there aren't default already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the column container here, which is the display table. And sometimes you have to play with to see where it is. So we have the column over here, and let's just type in margin and let's see if that solves our problem. By golly, it appears that it does. So let's go into live view and see what we have here. Okay, well, that did not solve the problem. It looked like it solved the problem, but it didn't. So what we need to do is find out where that problem is. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into real time and Google Chrome. We're going to save everything, and let's see what we have here. Okay, well, we still have something at the top. So that means it's being overridden by something else. So we're going to leave that for right now, and I'm going to leave that for the next video so that you can try to figure out where it is. It's going to be either in padding or in margin. So let's go into code view and see what we have here. So it's either going to be in column container or it's going to be in the left over here. So for right now, we're going to leave this. So I'm going to go back into design view and stay in code view. What I want over here, actually, let me go back into live for a second. What I want to do is have something underneath this. I want to keep the menu system separate from the rest of it. So I'm going to go back into code view, and underneath the menu system here, and we want it to be part of the column. So let's click on this here, and you can see where it is. So what we want it to be is right after the column and the nav. So I'm going to insert, and I'm going to go in here. Now I have a whole bunch of things in here. And main, aside, article, section are all the same. A lot of people think aside is for something to put on a side. It's really not. Aside is strictly defined as something that really is not part of it, but it's there. I know that doesn't make sense. We have article in here. What I'm recommending that we use is a section, because that's going to be a section of the column. So we want to do it at the insertion point, and we're going to leave it as, we'll leave it at this right now, and if we want to define it in here. So let's go back into live in here, and you can see. So let's go and go into real-time preview. We'll save everything. And we can see that we have a little bit of spacing in here, but here we're going to leave it, and we're going to, in the next video, we're going to change it. So what I'm going to put here now is things that we can use in here. So the first thing I want to do, if they go back into Dreamweaver, we want to put some padding in it. We don't want this wrapped around here. We're going to put left and right padding. And depending upon what we do over here, we're going to either leave the margins alone or we may add something in here. So again, I need to emphasize that there is no one way of doing things. You sometimes have to play with it and see how it looks. So I'm going to go back in over here, and I'm clicking on section. And I think what I'm going to do is give it an ID of left. And the reason why I'm going to call it something, actually left is probably not a good idea. Let's just call it section ID left top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on section left top here. I'm going to go into my CSS designer, add a new selector, and I'll leave this here so we can move it into the left over here. And we probably want to change this to section. So what this means, now notice I'm not putting a space after. What this means is a section that has a left top as an ID. Hitting the OK. I'm going to go back in and add a property. So I'm going to change the layout here. So let's put padding 10 on the left and padding 10 on the right. Okay, so now notice that this is nicely spaced over here. So we can play with these things over here. So now the last thing I'm going to do in this section is I'm going to add a border. We have two options. We can add a border here, or we can add a border here. In other words, we can add a right border here, or we can add a left border here. It's identical. So because we're working on the right, rather we're working on the left, I'm going to add it here. So the first thing I'm going to do is just click on, I need to be on left because I want it to be the whole thing. So notice we have div here, and we have div column left. We have our nav. So we need to be in div column left. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a new selector if we don't have one already. So you can look and see, do we have div column? We don't have anything in here technically. We have a left over here, which could be it. So let's just add this. We can always group them together. And we already have the left. So we'll get rid of that and we'll change this here. And we will add a border. And we'll add a right border. We'll make the width 2 pixels. We'll do it solid. And the color will be, let's just so it stands out for right now, red. And now we're done. Let's go, and you can see it's over here. Now, as we did this, remember now, we have 200 in here. We also have to add the border on here. So our effective width of this is not going to be 200 minus the width over here. We have to count for this, which is 2 pixels, and we have to change it in here. So that's it for this video right now. In our next video, we're going to clean this section up over here, and then we're going to add some selectors here for the section here, the P tag, the H1, and an H2 tag. Then we're going to start working on column 2. So look forward to see you in the next video.